Trump and Republicans in Congress love to rail against programs that support the poor and vulnerable, while at the same time delivering massive handouts to the wealthy and corporations. According to this cruel logic, the poor will work harder if they have less, and the rich will work harder if they have more. Consider the case of billionaire investor Carl Icahn.
I have the greatest businessmen in the world that have endorsed me, including people like Carl Icahn. Great businessman.
The Environmental Protection Agency recently granted an oil refinery owned by Icahn a so-called financial hardship waiver. The exemption allows the refinery to avoid clean air laws, potentially saving Icahn millions of dollars.
Carl's a great business genius.
Now, Icahn is not exactly a hardship case. According to Bloomberg's Billionaire Index, his net worth is $21.8 billion. Over the last 4 decades, as a corporate raider, Icahn has pushed CEOs to cut payrolls, abandon their communities, and outsource jobs abroad in order to generate more money for him and other investors.
Carl Icahn, many of the greatest business leaders in the country have endorsed me. They say Trump's the only one that knows what he's doing.
Meanwhile, Trump and his enablers on Capitol Hill are proposing billions of dollars in cuts to everything from food stamps to the Children's Health Insurance Program. HUD Secretary Ben Carson recently proposed large rent increases for families receiving housing assistance, explaining that help to the poor creates perverse incentives, such as discouraging these families from earning more money. Well, that's just rubbish. Low-income Americans are already working hard. Many of them are paying half their monthly incomes in rent alone. Some Americans in dire straits are getting no help at all. Flint's water is still unsafe. Much of Puerto Rico is still in the dark. In reality, Trumponomics is a thin veneer of an excuse for giving America's rich, already richer than ever, whatever they want, while sticking it to everyone else. We're rapidly becoming a nation of just 2 groups. The first, those without any voice, vulnerable to real financial hardships, who are losing whatever meager assistance they had. And this includes many white working-class Trump supporters. The second group are those like Carl Icahn, powerful enough to extract benefits from Trump and the GOP by claiming they need such incentives in order to invest. But their neediness is a hoax. And the only significant investments they're making are payoffs to politicians. Far more Americans belong to the first group than to the second. The real question is when they will realize it and vote accordingly.
Carl Icahn, incredible guy, right? Incredible guy, great deal maker.